A peaceful day at the zoo turns into a parent's worst nightmare. A toddler vanishes in an instant. Then, gasps of horror as all eyes turn to the bear enclosure. What unfolds next will leave you breathless. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel. Your subscription means everything to us, and it's the only way for the stories of these beautiful animals, who often suffer in silence, to reach more people. It helps us keep our work going. Please subscribe now. Oakville Zoo, a sprawling oasis of concrete paths and lush greenery, bustled with life on that fateful Saturday morning. The air hummed with excitement, a symphony of children's laughter mingling with the distant calls of exotic animals. Families strolled between exhibits, ice cream cones melting in the warm summer sun, blissfully unaware that in mere moments their world would be turned upside down. The Johnson family had just arrived. Mark, a tall man with kind eyes and a quick smile. Sarah, her auburn hair pulled back in a messy bun, and their curious 3-year-old son, Timmy. The little boy's eyes were wide with wonder as he took in the sights and sounds around him, his tiny hand gripping tightly to his mother's as they navigated the crowded pathways. "Look, Mommy! Big kitties!" Timmy squealed, his free arm flailing wildly as he pointed at the lion exhibit. Sarah smiled, tightening her grip on Timmy's hand instinctively. "That's right, sweetie. Those are lions," she replied, her voice tinged with the pride of a mother, witnessing her child's growing understanding of the world. But as they moved towards the next enclosure, Sarah felt a tug. In a split second that would haunt her dreams for years to come, Timmy's little hand slipped from her grasp. The world seemed to slow down, each heartbeat stretching into an eternity as Sarah spun around, her eyes frantically searching for that familiar mop of curly hair. "Timmy?" Sarah called, her voice barely above a whisper as panic began to set in. But Timmy was gone, swallowed up by the bustling crowd like a pebble dropped into a rushing river. Mark's face paled, his eyes meeting Sarah's for a brief moment before he bellowed, "Timmy!" His deep voice carried over the chatter of the crowd, causing nearby visitors to turn and stare. The atmosphere shifted in an instant. The carefree joy of a day at the zoo evaporated, replaced by a growing sense of unease. Other parents instinctively pulled their own children closer, their eyes darting about, searching for the missing boy. Zoo security was alerted, their walkie-talkies crackling to life as they coordinated a search. Minutes ticked by like hours as Sarah and Mark frantically scanned faces, hoping against hope to spot their little boy's curly hair or hear his infectious giggle. The crowd's murmurs grew, whispers of concern spreading like wildfire through the gathering throng. "Did you hear? A little boy's gone missing." "Oh, those poor parents. I can't imagine." Zoo staff fanned out, their bright uniforms a stark contrast to the somber mood that had descended upon the park. They peered behind bushes, checked restrooms, and scoured every nook and cranny where a curious toddler might wander. But as the search stretched on, a heavy sense of dread began to settle over the zoo. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the air, cutting through the tension like a knife. All eyes snapped to its source. A young woman standing by the bear enclosure, her hand clasped over her mouth in horror. "There's a child," she cried, her voice trembling as she pointed a shaking finger towards the exhibit. A child in the bear cage. The world seemed to stand still. Sarah's heart stopped, her breath catching in her throat as she pushed through the gathering crowd. And there, beyond the safety barrier, stood little Timmy. He was giggling, completely oblivious to the danger as he toddled towards the massive brown bear lounging in the sun. Chaos erupted. People shouted for help. Cell phones appeared as if by magic, recording the unfolding nightmare. Zoo staff sprinted towards the enclosure, their faces masks of determination and fear. But they were too far away. The bear's ears twitched at the commotion, and it slowly raised its enormous head, dark eyes focusing on the tiny intruder in its domain. Sarah fell to her knees, a scream caught in her throat as she watched her baby boy, so small and vulnerable, standing mere feet away from one of nature's most formidable predators. Mark lunged forward, every fiber of his being screaming at him to protect his child. He was ready to vault the barrier, consequences be damned, held back only by the strong arms of a security guard. "Sir, you can't. It's too dangerous," the guard shouted, his own voice strained with the effort of restraining the desperate father. The bear rose to its full height, towering over tiny Timmy. At 8 feet tall and weighing over 1,000 pounds, the animal was a mountain of muscle and fur. Timmy, finally sensing something was wrong, froze in place, his little face scrunched up in confusion, then fear, as he looked around, suddenly realizing how far he was from Mommy and Daddy. Tears welled up in his eyes, glistening in the sunlight that filtered through the enclosure's trees. The crowd held its breath, a collective gasp caught in hundreds of throats. Not a sound could be heard except for Sarah's quiet sobs and the heavy breathing of the bear. The massive animal took a step forward, its paw larger than Timmy's entire head. Then another step. Timmy whimpered, rooted to the spot in fear, his tiny body trembling. Time seemed to stretch, each second an eternity as the zoo held its breath. Would they witness a tragedy? Or would a miracle unfold before their eyes? The tension was palpable, electric in the air as everyone waited to see what would happen next. What unfolded in the next moments left everyone stunned, their understanding of the natural world forever altered. The bear lowered its massive head, bringing its face close to Timmy's. Hot breath ruffled the boy's curls as the animal's sensitive nose twitched, taking in the scent of this strange, small creature that had wandered into its territory. Timmy's whimpers turned to hiccuping sobs, his eyes squeezed shut in fear. Then, ever so gently, the bear nuzzled the boy's cheek. Its rough fur tickled Timmy's face, and something extraordinary happened. The little boy's sobs transformed into giggles, his fear momentarily forgotten in the face of this unexpected sensation. "Fuzzy!" Timmy exclaimed, his tear-stained face breaking into a smile as he reached out to pat the bear's nose. His tiny hand was dwarfed by the animal's muzzle, but the bear remained perfectly still, allowing the contact. The crowd gasped collectively, a sound of disbelief and wonder rippling through the gathered onlookers. Zoo staff arrived at the enclosure, tranquilizer guns at the ready. But they hesitated. The scene before them was unlike anything they'd ever witnessed in all their years of working with animals. As the initial shock began to wear off, whispers started to circulate through the crowd. "That's Luna," someone said, their voice filled with awe. "She was rescued as a cub and raised here at the zoo." Luna, the gentle giant, had always been known for her calm demeanor with her handlers. But this was beyond anything anyone could have imagined. It was as if some ancient instinct had awakened in the bear, a maternal drive that transcended species. Luna lay down beside Timmy, her massive body curling protectively around the small boy. Timmy, his fear now completely forgotten, snuggled against Luna's warm fur. "Nice bear," he murmured, his eyelids growing heavy as the adrenaline of his adventure began to wear off. The tension in the air slowly began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of awe and wonder. Sobs of terror transformed into tears of relief and joy. Mark and Sarah, still held back by security, watched in disbelief as their son cuddled with the enormous predator as if she were nothing more than an oversized teddy bear. Carefully, zoo staff entered the enclosure, led by Luna's primary caretaker, a woman named Dr. Emily Chen. They approached slowly, speaking in soothing tones. "Easy, girl," Dr. Chen murmured, her eyes never leaving Luna's face. "You've done so well. Such a good girl." Luna watched them calmly, her dark eyes intelligent and aware. She made no move to stop them as they gently scooped up the now drowsy Timmy. It was as if she understood that her job was done, that she had protected this lost little one until help could arrive. Tears of relief streamed down Sarah's face as Timmy was placed back in her arms. She clutched him tightly, her body shaking with sobs as she peppered his face with kisses. Mark enveloped them both in a fierce hug, his own tears falling freely as he thanked whatever higher power had watched over his son. As the family was reunited, a spontaneous cheer erupted from the crowd. Strangers hugged each other, caught up in the emotion of the moment. "It was a miracle," they said, "a testament to the unexpected bonds that can form between species." The story of Timmy and Luna spread like wildfire. Within hours, a deeper connection between humans and animals that we had yet to fully understand. In the days that followed, Luna became a sensation. Visitors flocked to the zoo, hoping to catch a glimpse of the hero bear. Children pressed their faces against the glass of her enclosure, waving and calling out to her. Luna took it all in stride, her calm demeanor unchanged by her newfound celebrity. But for the Johnson family, Luna was more than just a viral sensation or a scientific curiosity. She was a guardian angel, a miraculous protector who had kept their precious boy safe when all hope seemed lost. Timmy, too young to fully grasp the danger he had been in or the magnitude of what had transpired, simply asked to visit his fuzzy friend again and again. The zoo, recognizing the unique bond that had formed, set up special supervised visits. Under carefully controlled conditions, Timmy was allowed to interact with Luna, always under the watchful eyes of trained handlers and his parents. These visits became a source of wonder and joy, not just for Timmy and Luna, but for all who witnessed them. The massive bear would lay patiently as Timmy read her stories, his small voice carrying across the enclosure as he shared tales of curious monkeys and hungry caterpillars. Luna would listen attentively, her eyes never leaving the boy, as if she understood every word. Sometimes, Timmy would bring his toy cars, lining them up along Luna's broad back as she dozed in the sun. The bear never flinched or showed any sign of irritation, accepting the boy's play with a patience that seemed almost human. As the weeks passed, the bond between boy and bear only grew stronger. Timmy's nightmares about his misadventure, which had plagued him in the immediate aftermath, began to fade. Instead, he dreamed of soft fur and gentle eyes, of feeling safe and protected in the presence of his unlikely friend. The incredible tale of Luna and Timmy touched hearts around the world, transcending borders and cultures. It sparked conversations about the nature of consciousness in animals, about the capacity for empathy and understanding in species we often underestimate. Wildlife conservationists seized upon the story, using it to highlight the importance of protecting bear habitats and the need for ethical treatment of animals in captivity. Luna became a symbol, a testament to the complexity and depth of animal emotions. For the staff at Oakville Zoo, the event was transformative. Dr. Emily Chen, Luna's primary caretaker, found herself in high demand for interviews and lectures. She spoke passionately about the lessons learned from Luna's actions, emphasizing the need for continued research into animal cognition and behavior. What Luna did that day challenges everything we thought we knew about bear behavior, Dr. Chen would say, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. It forces us to reconsider the depth of emotional intelligence in these animals. If a bear can show such gentleness and protectiveness towards a human child, what else might they be capable of feeling and understanding? The zoo implemented new educational programs, using Luna's story as a launching point to teach visitors about bear conservation, the importance of respecting wildlife, and the complex social structures of these often misunderstood animals. But perhaps the most profound impact was on the Johnson family themselves. Sarah and Mark, shaken by how close they had come to losing their son, became vocal advocates for child safety in public spaces. They worked with the zoo to implement new security measures, including enhanced barriers and a child tracking system that visitors could opt into. "We were lucky," Sarah would say in interviews, her voice catching as she recalled that fateful day. "Luna was there to protect our boy, but we can't rely on miracles. We need to take active steps to keep our children safe while still allowing them to experience the wonder of nature." Mark, previously focused solely on his corporate career, found his priorities shifting. He began volunteering at animal sanctuaries, discovering a passion for wildlife conservation that he had never known existed. "Luna opened my eyes," he would explain. "She showed me that these animals aren't just attractions. They're thinking, feeling beings with so much to teach us." As for Timmy, his adventure left him with a lifelong love of animals and a special place in his heart for bears. As he grew older, his early encounter with Luna shaped his interests and his understanding of the world around him. He devoured books about wildlife, his bedroom walls covered with posters of different bear species from around the world. Years later, when it came time to choose a career path, there was never any doubt in Timmy's mind. He would go on to study zoology, specializing in ursine behavior. His unique childhood experience gave him insights that his professors found invaluable, and his passion for understanding and protecting these magnificent creatures was unmatched. In his first published paper, Timmy would write, "My journey into the world of bear behavior began with a moment that should have been tragic, but instead became miraculous. Luna taught me that there is so much we have yet to understand about the emotional lives of animals. Every day, I strive to honor her memory by pushing the boundaries of our knowledge, by advocating for the protection of these incredible creatures, and by never forgetting the lesson she taught the world, that compassion and gentleness can be found in the most unexpected places." Luna lived out the rest of her days at Oakville Zoo, passing peacefully in her sleep at the ripe old age of 28. The zoo erected a statue in her honor, a bronze bear with a gentle expression, her paw outstretched as if to offer comfort. At the base, a plaque reads, "Luna, protector, teacher, friend." She showed us the true meaning of gentleness and the unexpected depths of animal consciousness. Visitors to the zoo often pause at Luna's statue, children reaching out to touch the cool bronze, parents recounting the now legendary tale, and in quiet moments, when the sun is setting and the zoo is emptying for the day, some swear they can feel a presence, gentle, watchful, protective, a reminder that love and compassion know no bounds, not even those between species. The tale of Timmy and Luna serves as a powerful reminder. In a world that can sometimes seem dark and scary, there are still moments of pure magic, moments that show us the unexpected connections that can form between species, and the capacity for gentleness in even the most powerful of creatures. If this story of an unlikely friendship between a bear and a little boy moved you, make sure to subscribe for more incredible animal tales that will warm your heart and restore your faith in the beauty of nature. Luna's legacy lives on, not just in the lives she touched directly, but in the ripple effect her actions created. Conservation efforts for bear habitats saw an uptick in support. Zoos around the world reassessed their approach to animal care, placing greater emphasis on understanding and nurturing the emotional lives of their residents. In schools, Luna and Timmy's story became a teaching tool, used to discuss empathy, kindness, and the importance of respecting all living creatures. Children would write essays imagining what Luna was thinking when she first saw Timmy, or draw pictures of other unlikely animal friendships inspired by their tale. The incident sparked a renewed interest in animal cognition studies. Researchers delved deeper into understanding the emotional capacity of bears and other large predators. They discovered complexities in bear social structures and problem-solving abilities that had previously gone unnoticed, further blurring the lines between human and animal consciousness. Timmy's journey into zoology led him to the far corners of the world. He tracked sun bears in the jungles of Southeast Asia, studied polar bears in the Arctic, and worked to establish protected corridors for brown bears in Europe. At each step, he carried the lesson Luna had taught him, that every animal, no matter how fearsome it might appear, has the capacity for gentleness and understanding. On the 10th anniversary of his encounter with Luna, Timmy returned to Oakville Zoo, no more than 5 or 6, looking up at him with wide, curious eyes. Her mother stood nearby, smiling apologetically for the interruption. Kneeling down to the girl's level, Timmy smiled. Yes, it is. Her name was Luna, and she was very special. Would you like to hear her story? The girl nodded eagerly, and Timmy began to recount the tale, watching as wonder bloomed in the child's eyes. As he spoke, more people gathered around, drawn in by the storytelling. Parents lifted children onto their shoulders for a better view. Couples held hands, and for a moment, the busy zoo fell quiet, everyone united in listening to this extraordinary tale of unexpected friendship. This, Timmy realized, was Luna's true legacy, not just the life she had saved, but the countless hearts she had touched, the minds she had opened, the way she had brought people together and changed how they saw the world around them. As Timmy finished his story, a collective sigh rippled through the gathered crowd. The little girl who had first asked about Luna looked up at the statue with newfound awe. "I want to be like Luna when I grow up," she declared solemnly. "I want to be brave and kind and help people." Timmy felt his heart swell with emotion. "That's a wonderful goal," he told her. "And you know what? I think Luna would be very proud of you for wanting that." As the crowd dispersed, Timmy remained by the statue for a moment longer. He thought about all the twists and turns his life had taken since that fateful day, all the adventures he'd had, and the wonders he'd seen. And at the heart of it all was Luna, the gentle giant who had changed everything. In that moment, Timmy made a decision. He would establish a foundation in Luna's name, dedicated to promoting empathy, conservation, and the study of animal cognition. It would fund research, support wildlife sanctuaries, and provide educational programs to teach children about the importance of kindness to all living creatures. As he walked away from the statue, Timmy felt a sense of purpose stronger than ever before. Luna's story wasn't over. In many ways, it was just beginning, and he would make sure her message of love, protection, and unexpected connections continued to spread around the world. The sun was setting as Timmy left the zoo, casting a warm golden glow over everything. As he reached the exit, he paused, looking back at Luna's statue one last time. For a moment, just a fleeting instant, he could have sworn he saw a flicker of movement, as if the bronze bear had turned her head to watch him go. Timmy smiled, a warmth spreading through his chest. "Goodbye, old friend," he murmured, "and thank you." As he turned to leave, a family was entering the zoo, a little boy bouncing with excitement between his parents. Timmy overheard the child asking, "Can we see the hero bear, please? Can we?" Chuckling to himself, Timmy stepped out into the world, ready to continue Luna's legacy. He knew that as long as her story was told, as long as it continued to inspire wonder and kindness, a part of Luna would live on forever. In the years that followed, Timmy's Luna Foundation grew beyond his wildest dreams. It funded groundbreaking research into animal cognition, established wildlife corridors to help bears and other animals navigate an increasingly fragmented habitat, and created educational programs that reached millions of children around the world. But perhaps its greatest achievement was the Luna Sanctuary, a sprawling reserve that provided a safe haven for bears rescued from cruel captivity or habitat destruction. Here, these magnificent animals could roam free, their dignity restored, Their stories of resilience, a testament to the enduring spirit that Luna had embodied. Visitors to the sanctuary often reported feeling a sense of peace and connection as they observed the bears from a respectful distance. Children would point excitedly, recounting Luna's story to their parents, their eyes shining with the same wonder that Timmy had felt all those years ago. And on quiet evenings, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sanctuary fell still, some swore they could feel a presence, gentle, watchful, protective, a reminder that love knows no bounds, that courage can take many forms, and that sometimes the most profound connections come from the most unexpected places. As for Timmy, now Dr. Timothy Johnson, renowned zoologist and conservationist, he never forgot the bear who had changed his life. In every lecture he gave, every paper he published, every bear he helped rescue, Luna's spirit lived on. Her lesson, that gentleness and understanding can bridge even the widest of divides, remained at the heart of everything he did. And so, dear listeners, as we come to the end of this extraordinary tale, let us carry forward the lesson that Luna and Timmy taught us. Let us approach the world with open hearts and minds, ready to find wonder and connection in the most unexpected places. For who knows, your own Luna might be waiting just around the corner, ready to show you the true meaning of courage, compassion, and love. If this story touched your heart and opened your eyes to the magical connections possible between humans and animals, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs a reminder of the beauty and wonder that exists in our world. And stay tuned for more incredible tales that will leave you speechless, inspired, and filled with hope for the future of our planet and all its inhabitants. Remember, every animal has a story, a personality, and the potential to surprise us in the most beautiful ways. So the next time you encounter wildlife, whether in a zoo, a sanctuary, or in the wild, take a moment to really see them. Look into their eyes, observe their behavior, and open yourself to the possibility of a connection that transcends species. Who knows, you might just witness a miracle of your own. And in that moment, you'll understand what Timmy learned all those years ago, that the truest form of magic is the bond that can form between all living creatures, if only we open our hearts to the possibility. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your heart receptive, and never stop believing in the power of unexpected friendships. For in the end, it's these connections that make life truly extraordinary.